Nice. Nice immigrant. Welcome back to Morocco.
Alright, so we've just left our campsite in the little town of Mamit. We are heading towards the famous dunes of Erg Chegaga. We've got a few stops along the way. We're gonna explore. We've got the beautiful little dunes of Erg Zaher.
Erg Zaher, yes, so we're going probably the most remote we've been on this trip so far. Erg Zaher is very infrequently visited by tourists, and it's a proper gnarly off-road route to get there, where we're going to have to navigate through sand dunes and whatnot. The sands constantly change, so we're going to have to do a lot of route finding on this trip. And then yeah, two amazing beautiful dunes, which will, I think, be better than Erg Chegaga because it's just so much less touristy.
Yeah, definitely less touristy around here. So the reason we stopped at that campsite is there was a huge sandstorm again this weekend. It seems like every time we're going to the dunes, the wind is massively picking up. The entire country had rain, snow, so we were lucky in that respect. But yeah, we found a very good campsite called Carrefour des Nomades, which is so far I think one of our favorite campsites we've been to. Very quiet, really we nice. Were the only one yesterday. And yeah, pretty well sheltered from the wind. There was like this wall next to us. We had good night of sleep. The staff was quite friendly. They brought us breakfast in the morning.
Yeah,
like
that was cool. Having two different types of fresh breakfast for free every morning.
Yeah, we had like some crepes yesterday, and like this morning some fried eggs and Moroccan bread. Basically now we're heading to a little supermarket just to pick up a few more essentials. We've just refilled on water at the campsite. We're as ready as we can be. Alright, so leaving the little village of Mamit now. It's definitely not as touristy as the Zuga. The little supermarket that was meant to go to was shut. No idea what kind of opening hours they've got. So I went to an even smaller one. Quite interesting. Yeah, there's just not much. So I just got basically some oats, some pasta and some wipes for Olight. That's all I managed to go. So we'll be fine until the next refill. Alright, now heading into the dry riverbed.
Heading into the unknown and just hoping that our GPX file relatively follows where the vehicles have been going in this riverbed. I would say it obviously changes every wet season.
And one tip I've got for you, because we've made a mistake already on this trip, is when you find a Wikiloc track, make sure it's like the most recent one you can find. We followed in another location a track from like 5 years ago, and they were washouts, and it was just a completely different track. So we found someone that did a track we want to do last year, so it's still not ideal, but that was the best we could find. Okay, so it's actually already a little bit sandy in the OED, so we're actually gonna deflate tire pressure now. Maybe 12 psi, yeah, just to make sure we don't get stuck again, just to prevent that.
Actually 10
psi.
Oh, this is gnarly already. What a shame. We were hoping the worst of the wind was gone, but it looks like the forecast is a bit off and it's really windy. Usually we've noticed in Morocco, if it's windy in the morning, it's going to be a really windy day, because usually it only picks up from like 12 p.m. So not hopeful that this is going to be real pleasant for us today. Tomorrow is definitely looking better, so we'll hope for the best. shot?
Got the shot.
Nice job.
I can't do anything. Oh gosh, the things you're gonna do.
So much for waiting out that weather, eh?
Yeah, no ideal. Oh.
But when you're in the desert, you've got to expect wind, right? There's no other reason why these tunes are here.
Yeah, and we can't just like wait it out for like days on end. We still have to get going at some stage.
We do not like waiting around. You probably can tell from us already. We do not like waiting around, but sometimes it's good for a little break. So we got our 2 days and now it is time to get back into the saddle, get adventuring again.
Alright, Chris has done it again. Spotted in a distance some wild camels.
They look so ethereal, like they're just coming out of the dust in this Oued. We've seen a lot of camels so far in Morocco, but I think they've actually all belonged to herders, whereas these, as far as I'm aware, will be wild, which is really cool. They're a dromedary camel, so they are the single hump camel, and these are the ones with the largest wild population. It's actually in Australia now, in the Simpson Desert, which is pretty crazy. Ah, thanks. Yeah. We should be okay. We should be okay. Thank you. We'll be good. We'll be.
C'est le bassin, c'est comme ça. Bassin,
Any...
c'est après le cochonnet sur l'ail.
Oui, Ramadan, oui. Voilà. Je vous en prie, merci pour votre aide. Merci beaucoup. We'll talk about that little incident in a sec. Right now we're just trying to find out where we had to leave the Oued because that was basically way too soft for us, and the herder that we met there was like, this is not the way to go to Erg Zaher. So now we're out of the truck and we're trying to find a way. Chris went for a walk to try and find somewhere to go, but we are getting lost and we just don't want to get lost around here. Don't want to use more fuel than we need. So yeah, this is getting a little bit more of an adventure than we had anticipated. Yeah, I just can't find any track on my Google Maps. What are you finding? Okay, so I'll talk first. I went on Wikilog. The track that we wanted to initially follow is actually taking a slightly different route. So this is where we are right now, and you can see a lot of
easy.
tracks.
All right, let's do it. So one of our issues here is there are little dead trees, and they are the perfect candidate for spiking through the sidewall of a tire. So that's kind of our biggest risk out here, running out of fuel and spiking a tire.
Yeah, so making our own tracks is not wise.
Yeah, ideally we don't want to just push through our own track too much. What I mean by that is this. They're very sharp, they're almost like petrified. and they're all over the show, so that's what we don't want to run into. Looks like we've almost found the track if we carry on this way.
Right side, less deep.
Gosh, this wall dust is something else, hey? It is brutal to drive in. This puts Australian wall dust to shame. This is unbelievable. Never seen anything like it. It's not sand, it's like talcum powder. Wow. Alright, so we have stopped in this dry ued to have some lunch because Oakley woke up from his little nap. Man, this is, I'm not exaggerating, this has been a real workout just to get here. So much track finding, so many obstacles to avoid, so many potential going down, getting stuck. But so far, yeah, the only time we got stuck you saw, which was in the other riverbed, the larger riverbed with the camels near the start. It went from being rocky and sandy, not too bad at all, to suddenly bottomless, really like powdery sand, almost like a cross between dust and sand, I guess you could say. And we were in low range, but only 4x4, and we were at 10 psi. So that lovely camel herder came over. He actually takes guided trips to Erg Zaher, which was cool. He refused to not help us, and just a lovely guy. Ange mostly spoke to him in French. He didn't really understand much English. Said hi to Oakley and stuff, and then just kind of he helped us dig, got some branches, things like that, while we dropped tyre pressure to 5 psi. So we're now 5 psi in all 6 tyres. Sorry buddy, I'll give you something to entertain you. So we've kept that 5 psi, and you can really see them bag out, especially in the front, which is nice. I engaged front wheel drive and climbed out of there with our Maxtrax lookalikes, which was super easy. And then we found kind of another trail, which he kind of pointed us at. He basically sort of said, don't go down this ued. So we found another track, and then it was very difficult to find our way back. And I think we're kind of on a track that we know of. It seems to be quite well driven. We saw a 4x4 guide at one point going towards Erg Chegaga, and he said no cars go to Zaher, only camel tours, so he advised us not to go. Usually when someone advises us not to go, I don't listen, because that means it's going to be epic. And also,
and we know that it's not true. Some cars do go.
Some cars do, yeah, we know that some cars do go here. He also then tried to upsell a guided tour to Ange. So I figured that I think he might have just been, not bluffing, but over-exaggerating. And we've definitely found a trail. But other than that, we're doing great. Scotty is performing admirably. I've still got that clicking in the front wheel drive, but it does still work. So I'm only engaging it when I absolutely need to, and it just makes such a huge difference. So I really need to get on top of that. I'm just concerned if I open up parts of the transfer case now, if there's anything broken in there that needs to be replaced, then I've got no front wheel drive, right? And we may really need it here. So I'm just gonna nurse it for now.
Alright, so we had a quick lunch stop. We're gonna head back on the track towards the dunes. And you would have seen on the last episode, we were as well in the dunes of Merzouga. And we actually done quite a lot of exploration since we left Merzouga. One of the highlights was going towards the Atlas Mountains, and we visited along the way the Todra Gorge and the Grot of Hakiham, which were both really amazing places to visit. We went with our friend Sai, with his Land Rover Defender that you would have seen as well in the last episode. Yes, it's really cool to explore a bit higher up elevation, even though there was actually still snow in the Atlas. We were up to 3,000 meters elevation. We decided not to go further because there was actually a forecast of even more snow.
So we've just spent a couple of hours driving up the Todra Gorge area. Absolutely stunning. Just winding up through the valleys, nice gentle slopes until kind of the end where it became quite a bit steep and we went all the way up to 2,645 meters. Nowhere near as much snow as we thought there would be at this time of year. So I don't know if this is still technically considered the High Atlas or not, but I know Mount Toubkal is, from memory, over 4,000 meters. I actually went there on my own quite a long time ago from London and climbed Mount Toubkal and had an awesome time. So I've been into the High Atlas before and they are just stunning. Now behind me is somewhere in here the Akiem Rock Arch or Akiem Grotto or Grot. And as you can see, bit of snow. Sai is still with us for now, which is awesome. So we've stopped to have some lunch and then we'll check out what we can find through here. It looks like there's some caves, no one around, absolutely beautiful. But first, lunch. The diesel heater is on for the first time in the day in a very long time because it feels very cold. Far out. The blizzard's come in. What have we done? From the desert sands to the snowy mountains in 2 days. That's pretty wild. Thought it would be time to introduce Sai, who's been traveling with us for a few days now.
Hello.
Hey man.
Hello.
So tell us a bit about what you've been doing. So you started in Hong Kong?
Yes. So I quit my job last year, started my trip in July 2024 last year.
Amazing.
Started driving from Hong Kong via China, Mongolia, Russia,
Wow.
through Central Asia, and then to Europe, and now to Morocco.
Man, you've seen so much in such a short amount of time. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of drive, and I wish I've done a little bit slower because I really like Central Asia.
Okay,
But
Good
yeah,
to know.
I'm glad I'm here now.
Cool, man. Enjoying Morocco?
Yeah.
Wicked.
It's still to me, it's like, it's still unreal. Like,
Yeah.
I've never
It's so exotic. And Sai is photographing a Unimog in the next few days down in Mizuga, so we'll have to probably part ways either tonight or tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So, which is sad because man, it's been really
I know,
enjoyable
it's
traveling
been
with you,
great,
man.
yeah.
And here's the mighty setup that's taken him through large portions of the world, and you're thinking a roof conversion soon, eh?
Hopefully I'll get one done maybe around mid this year. 2012 models.
Uh-huh.
And it has a transit engine.
Okay.
Transit engine.
So it's the Puma engine,
Yes. the
which
2.2.
gets a bit of a bad rap, but you've Touchwood loved
yeah,
it.
I know. It's if you're Land Rover owners, you understand. But everyone else kind of like on it.
Yeah. No. I mean,
but for me, it's like Touchwood. It's been really good. Like I've never been to a situation that really leave me stranded in nowhere.
Perfect. And it won't happen. It won't happen.
Otherwise, it's really just preventive maintenance.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Sai's been powering past us on the hills, going like, so it's obvious like the engine's got loads of power. So
you get your
the diesel. It'll be better. It'll be better. Do you mind if we have a look in the cockpit?
No.
So this is a right-hand drive vehicle, which is cool to see.
Same Aussie.
Cool, man.
Got this done in
Homely
Sahara.
Nice. Oh, you just got, cool.
Yeah, I got this one done.
I see a lot of people travel with these. Does it make a big difference?
This for summer, yes.
Yeah,
These
cool.
ones really
so you don't get an itchy bum.
Yeah, exactly.
No one talks about the itchy bum. Awesome, man. Love it. And it's so cool to have Scotty with a Defender, because I mean, Defender's the quintessential overlanding vehicle. So having it in convoy is just epic.
More than Land Cruiser.
Yeah. The Troopy as well, of course.
Yeah. I love the Troopy as well.
So Sai, what does braking cycles what's the ethos behind that?
For me, having that Asian background, like for us, it's like really just following the footstep or the how our parents are done, like get a good job and get married. And
the 9 to 5, the grind.
Exactly, buy an apartment and fuck died. I don't want that. So the concept behind this is to really just break the cycles. I want to do something different in my life.
Good on you, man.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful logo as well. Love that.
Thank you.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Cheers, man. We'll let you have your feed.
Thank you. Cheers.
Hey. And this natural arch is amazing.
We're back in the main Ued.
Back in the main Ued, so this is the one that we could have driven all the way up today, but it just got so incredibly soft. So I'm still glad we went into the bull dust, but at the same time it's kind of a relief to be back here because it is a bit rocky, which is making the traveling much better.
Bye bye camels.
Pretty cool. They're our actual wild camels. Finally.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh.
Man, this is a war of attrition out here today. How did we miss it?
Okay, let's walk back. Wow, this is by far the hardest off-road track I've ever done. It is so hard. We can't find a way out of here. Gosh. Yeah. And stop.
Far out. This. This is sucky. Yeah! Hallelujah! That is called the Lion's Head Dune. It's the tallest one in Erg Zaher. We have actually made it. Oh, that was an effort. Top Scotty. Yeah, we're down half a tank of gas. We've made it. Okay, so now the plan is we need to find camp for tonight.
Oh, great.
Ideally on the lee side of the dune, because the wind is buffeting us hard from this direction here, which must be west. Hopefully that first thing in the morning is going to look stunning, because right now it looks like a washout, but it is what it is. Oh boy, that's as clean as it's going to get right now. Help. Yeah, a lot of dust comes in the back door. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm not going to film. Oh.
Thank you for your intervention.
Quickly.
Not a bad view from the tent though.
Whose idea was it to come to the desert in a sandstorm? Well, that's right, me. Yeah.
Let's hope for better weather tomorrow.
Yeah, please.
Alright, so we've been sheltering inside most of the afternoon. It was really windy, the wind now is slowly dying down. Still quite windy as you can see outside, but now at least we've got some blue sky. The sun is out. So hopefully tomorrow we've got a much nicer day. So early dinner for us, fajitas, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.
Good morning. So that was actually a pretty windy night. The wind never really dropped until kind of first thing this morning, maybe 4 or 5 a.m. We are now actually trying to film our first overland movie. So today's going to be a full-on day. So if there's a few holes in our vlog from now on, you'll know why. If you never see the overland film, it's because it was a disaster and we didn't release it. I'm hoping we will. So you'll probably see it after this vlog, I really hope.
Yeah, can we do it with a 2-year-old toddler? That's the main challenge.
And wind, that, yeah, 2 big challenges here. And provided we don't run out of fuel. So I put all the jerry cans in last night that we've got. I'm almost at full. We've done about a third, but what I'm really hoping is that we did the majority of the really slow going stuff through the bull dust. I'm hoping it's a bit faster from here on out. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to be hiking with a jerry can, which is not gonna make a great movie. Actually, maybe that would be more interesting. So we are gonna try and follow our GPS routes on Guru. We've kind of only got one to look at now, which was done in 2024, but we noticed yesterday that some of that had just completely disappeared due to wind and erosion, and possibly even there was a wet season since then. So that makes it a bit trickier. I'm going to be doing most of it in high range, because my low range is working really well, but I still occasionally get the big popping, cracking noise, and I just want to make sure I'm not doing any extra damage. So as often as I can, I'm going to be in high range, and that'll even be a bit better for fuel economy anyway. This was an insanely beautiful dune. Unfortunately, the weather was really lousy yesterday, but this morning's been gorgeous, so I'm really happy we got here. We didn't actually climb up to the top of the Lion Dune, but we got to see a really good view. In fact, I think we've got a better view looking at it than looking from it, because you've got sort of this desolate wasteland outside of this quite small dune complex, and just not a soul in sight, which is really nice. I mean, there's a high possibility we won't even run into another vehicle today. All right.
Let's do it. So today Chris is not only doing the driving, he's doing a lot more running to set up the tripod for the movie. And as well, I want to give him a big shout out for all the amazing editing he's been doing recently. A lot of you have noticed an improvement in quality and all the amazing intros that we've got. All thanks to Chris. You'll be fine, dude. You'll be fine. Oakley does not like when we stop, so that makes the filming of a movie extra challenging. Okay, so it looks like we are about a third of the track for today. So yesterday we did around 50 kilometers. Today we've got about another 50 kilometers to Erg Chegaga. We were hoping there was going to be easier kilometers, which so far it is definitely more travel this section. We wonder if people do it from the other side, because yeah, there's lots of tire marks at the moment here.
Hey!
Yes!
Nearly time for your little... Yes, it's the dada. Despite the wind, a little bit of a better experience than yesterday so far?
Oh yes. Yeah, yesterday I must admit I didn't enjoy the first part. Like, I kept imagining us like being completely lost, running out of fuel, like all the worst case scenario. Today in a much better spirit.
Ange and I, to be honest, get a bit extreme when things don't go our way, and we can be a bit over the top. And we sometimes need to ground ourselves a bit and understand that we're absolutely fine. Nothing's going wrong. Yes, things could go catastrophically wrong, but we don't want to put that out in the universe, right? So we just need to keep in better, more positive spirits when things aren't going our way. Oakley's getting a little run around now, and then we'll put him to sleep. When we put him to sleep in his seat, it means we can't really film, so that's always a bit of a challenge. We're always kind of trying to juggle between Oakley getting the best for him, getting enough running around, never being in the seat for more than like 2 hours, and also getting a really nice restful nap for the day, because it sets him up for the rest of the afternoon. Then he's not, you know, a tired mess, and he is only having one nap a day. So, but yeah, it means no filming really, because when we stop the truck, he then wakes up prematurely, which is not ideal at all. And if we put him to sleep up in the roof tent, he sleeps too long, and then he doesn't want to go to sleep at nighttime. So it's a juggling act with a toddler. So we've arrived in the dunes of Erg Chegaga, Not too far away from Zaher where we were this morning at all. The drive was much faster than yesterday. We didn't get lost once. It was just a more pleasant experience. Drove through some really beautiful areas of wildflowers and really green shrubbery, which is crazy that it can grow out here. It's just so bone dry. And now I've got a really awesome mountain range in the background out here. This dune complex is much bigger than Zaher, so there's quite a lot of driving that we can do. So we'll carry on probably after lunch and see if we can get nearer to the largest dune. We'll see how we go with that. Another one of the big highlights before we got here was checking out Dady's Gorge in the Atlas Mountains. And from there we said goodbye to Sai and we carried on to the amazing ruins of Ait Ben Haddou. So we are very slowly climbing to 2,900 meters in Skadi. Sai has gone ahead because I'm in first gear at like 16, 17k an hour. I can't get into second. We've got headwind and we've got altitude working against us. So Skadi is on the struggle bus, but as long as she gets us up there, we won't stay up at that altitude for long. Then we're going to go down through the valley towards what's called Dady's Gorge. And we're looking to maybe camp around there tonight. Good morning. So Sai and I just drove the famous Dady's Gorge, all those switchbacks coming down, and he's such a nice guy. He's turned around to drive back up and pick Ange up, who was filming us, so that she doesn't have to walk all the way down, because there's no chance I can turn around here and it'll probably take me longer to go up that hill than it will take Ange to get down. We had a really full-on night last night with just non-stop sleet and hail, huge thunder booms, and now there is an absolute dumping of snow on the mountaintops that we were up at yesterday, because we ended up going really high. We went to 2,900 meters, so we actually climbed even higher than before. So yeah, pretty much at the 3,000 meter mark in the high Atlas, which is amazing. In fact, they don't get much higher in this area. The only place they get higher is around Mount Toubkal, which is a bit closer to Marrakesh. So we camped kind of outside of a restaurant last night. We paid them 40 dirham, which is €4 for both cars, so €2 each for parking, because there's just nowhere really else that we can camp around here. We tried camping outside of a village, but the village elder came out and told us we couldn't, for our safety, he said, but I just don't think he wanted us there. But that worked really well. It's hard to wild camp in countries like this, especially when the terrain is quite hard. Everywhere just kind of has people. Thanks, Si. Nice. Immigrants. Illegal immigrants. Wow, this is just amazing. So last night we camped up on this ridgeline overlooking the ancient city of Ait Ben Haddou, and now we're actually off-roading right to the main gates. I had no idea you could do this, but I've seen a few like working trucks doing it, not any tourists, so like, heck, let's just do it. Crazy thing is, right next to Ait Ben Haddou, kind of behind this like dirt mound, is still the large part of the set for Christopher Nolan's new Odyssey movie. I guess they're all packing up because the filming has kind of finished from in here. We came quite early afternoon yesterday, and the city, you could see hundreds upon hundreds of people. So we're going to try and get Oaks in his little backpack and check this place out before it gets really busy. our only river crossings we've done in Morocco so far, and it's outside like one of the most famous historical structures. So this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This is highly protected. In fact, I've read that this may be the oldest inhabited city in Morocco, and what it was a pivotal point on a trade route between Senegal and further into Morocco. So was a really pivotal spot at one point in time. So I'm just so rapt that we can off-road all the way to it, and this area hasn't been all cordoned off yet. Alright, we're inside. So you also see from what I just filmed here that Gladiator and Game of Thrones was filmed here as well. Awesome. I don't know what's going on. Is this the start?
Good.
Oh.
Very good. Gosh, it's tight.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Had to do it, sorry guys. Had to do it at some point. Oh.
Actually, I can't really do it at all.
Gosh, this gets the quads burning, having to crouch while walking upstairs with Oaks. Oh, fantastic. Very small people lived here. There's a tiny door. So this entire complex is built from wooden logs and mud.
There's lots of stairs.
All right. Wow. So there are still a few Berber families that still live here, but not many. Most have relocated to the more modern city across the river. So we are now walking up to the top part of the city, which is the granary at the very top, probably the most defensible area because it's the food storage. I just love that looking over this insane city, the only vehicle we can see is Scotty.
Yeah, the official tourist car park is somewhere.
Most people park in the city there and then they take this footbridge. But we took the very cool scenic way to get here today.
Parking,
the
VIP parking.
The VIP parking, that's it. I'm just hoping Christopher Nolan sees it, wants to star it in a movie. So all cultures that relied on agriculture, which was of course the vast amount in the last centuries, even arguably millennia, they needed to store their food somewhere away from pestilence, so away from like rats, mice, things that would eat the food. They also had to protect it from the weather, the elements, and they also had to protect it from raiding parties, because the prized possession of a town was of course the woman, the valuables, and the food. So the food was often put, as you can see right up here, in one of the most defensible positions in this fortified city, right at the top here where no one could get to it. And the other problem would have been a besieging force would try and light their stores on fire to end the siege sooner. So the big one was just protecting it at all costs, and that's what they've done here. However, they could not protect it from the ravages of time, right? Because it looks like it's really falling apart. Must give credit to the Berbers here. It's incredible that they could build such structures out of mud, and it almost looks like kind of like a dried wheatgrass, and then just logs and stone, and it would actually withstand decades without needing repair, even against rain, which is crazy because you'd think the rain would turn that mud into a slop, but it didn't. It's almost like a concrete. It's really impressive, and just a testament to them using what they had available to them. Now check this out. This was the set, and they have even built this incredible, what looks almost like Greek structure here, which I'm sure they would have increased the realism with CGI. You can see tons of catering trucks. They've even brought a big gas tank in here, and they've got the tents, probably the mess hall for the staff. I'm sure this was a much larger operation a week or so ago. Very cool. Very cool. Christopher Nolan never disappoints on a movie. I'll argue tooth and nail, he does not disappoint. He doesn't sell himself out. He's also an incredible writer, director as well. So I think the Odyssey's going to be really, really good. The only slight concern I have is Matt Damon, who I love, being cast as Odysseus. I just don't know if that's the best selection for the role. I would more think someone like maybe Carl Urban, even Viggo Mortensen, someone like that might just do the better role, the more like kind of rugged, weathered, beaten role that Odysseus needs to be. And it sounds like maybe Tom Holland will be Telemachus, his son, and then you've got a few other huge actors like Charlize Theron as well. So it's going to be a good movie. I almost sound like a PR agent for the movie, but it's going to be good. Well, Ait Benadou's been a real highlight for me for Morocco. I've heard and seen this place for many years, seen some really cool photos come from here. Hopefully I got a nice photo this morning with our long lens, which we never use. It's like 100 to 400, and it really requires a really long vista with separation between layers for it to really work effectively. So hopefully got a cool photo. But yeah, this is fantastic, and you can just go at your own pace, which is really cool. Yeah, we've also got 360-degree views of the High Atlas with snow on them, because when we left the High Atlas that day there was a bit of a snowstorm, so it put a bunch of nice powder on the mountains. So we're pretty much ready to go. I'm having second coffee for a change today. I think because I'm doing this movie, I'm doing so much running around and stuff, we both need a little bit of a kick for today. Hopefully we can find a really beautiful campsite for tonight.
So we're just navigating at the base of the dunes right now, heading towards our campsite. We're not too sure yet where we're gonna go, but you're trying to find a good spot. Yay! And it's pretty funny because we just passed the intersection with the TMT. So you would have seen in the first episode that we filmed, we were doing part of the Trans-Morocco Trail, and it actually comes here as well. So that's pretty cool. I guess all the trail that we've done the past few days, no bikes would have been able to do that, like the thick boulders and everything. Yeah.
It's an endurance bike track, so the track needs to be quite firm for them to be able to do it. That's why we're finding a lot of the Trans-Moroccan Trail isn't quite as scenic as we would like, and we've found some better trails in terms of scenery from Wikilot, which you would have been seeing in the vlogs.
Yeah.
If we just stuck to the TMT the whole time, I think it would have actually been for us a bit of a letdown. We would have actually missed a lot of the amazing sights.
Yeah, all our favorite parts are actually not on the TMT.
True.
Something we don't often do is actually changing our mind about a camp.
To be honest, we're a bit disappointed with Erg Chegaga because it's actually just filled with glamping experiences. It looks like every way you can get into the desert there's this big setup with tents. So it's nowhere near as remote as the other desert we were at yesterday. I mean, that desert we were at yesterday was seriously remote. This one, not so much at all. So we're going to jump back on a cross between the TMT and a different Wikiloc track, and we're going to head around what's called Lake Ariki, which is notorious for getting people badly stuck. So we're going to try and take a wide, safe route. Probably camp there tonight. Might be quite exposed.
Yeah, because Lake Erg, normally it's quite dry, but I think there's been a lot of rain at the start of the year or at the end of last year, I'm not too sure when. And apparently the lake is quite full right now, so you definitely need to be careful with your route. The TMT actually crosses the lake, which is crazy. Someone got bugged very bad recently. So we're gonna take more like a northern approach, northern trail to it, so that we are staying clear of it. Wow, so many wild camels.
I'm trying to go slow so we can see them and film them, but at the same time try and not go down and get bogged. It is really soft through here. It's crazy, some of them are quite white and some of them are very dark. They're very different colours. You've almost got like your blondes and your brunettes.
It's actually a much nicer area here than where we were just before.
It already feels more remote, which is great. Good morning, guys. Man, last night was a really strange night. So when we got here, it must have been nearly 5 o'clock and it was absolutely blowing a gale, so we hid behind a ruin. A man turned up out of nowhere, I think from this auberge here that Ange is filming. He had really creepy vibes. I was in the truck, so he couldn't see me at first. Ange was with Oakley outside. We just parked up. His first question to Ange in French was, "Are you alone?" So we got some weird vibes with him. He touched Oakley a couple of times. You could tell Oakley felt really uncomfortable. I got proper stranger danger from him. And then he basically asked, do we want to stay at his auberge? And we said no, like we're just going to camp here because obviously this is a ruin. We're just hiding from the wind. He then proceeded to go into the ruin. For about 5 minutes he was in there for. God knows what he was doing. The ruin is totally abandoned, covered in sand and dust. No one's slept in there. No one's gone to the toilet in there. It is not like there's a homeless person living there. He then came out, loitered around, very uncomfortable, then asked me, do I have any essence, any petrol for his bike? And I said, no, we don't. And then he left. So last night, everything seemed fine, hiding from the wind. Went to bed relatively early, it was about 10 o'clock. Heard this crunch, 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 crunch. We'd just gone into bed. We both sat bolt upright. I shone my light out of the back of the tent, which illuminated the building. And I knew the crunching noise was the ground inside that ruin, because it was old dried mud. I think it had flooded because this is Lake Ariki. Like all the hairs on the back of our neck were sort of standing up. I sort of knew it was a human judging by the sound and the weight it made on the ground, but I couldn't see anything. It was a relatively full-ish moon last night, so you could actually see the building, but inside the building would have been pitch black. So I didn't go in the building, I sort of wait, and then I started to tell myself, oh, it must just be an animal. Maybe 15 minutes later of me just staring out the tent at this doorway, I decided, okay, time for bed. Made sure I had the torch next to me and stuff. And then, bam, like heard this running. And I shot up out of bed, shone the light out 10, and saw this man go right past the back of the car and start bolting around the side of the building. I went, oi! I got out of bed. I must have been out of bed and out that door with the torch within maybe 15 seconds.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sprinting in nearly pitch black because my eyes hadn't adjusted that stage. Just in my little boxer shorts, barefoot, around the side building, just started sprinting across this plain, obviously not as far as we've just come. Running, and in my head I'm thinking, what am I going to do when I catch this guy? Because I did start to gain on him. I could just see the figure running in front of me, all dressed in black. And I'm thinking, I can't hurt this guy, he's not technically done anything. And then I'm thinking, God, if there's a second person, I've just left Ange and I can't see her because the building's now in front of me. So I scream at him, the only thing that came to my head, I just screamed at him, keep running, mother, to him, which is pretty stupid, but that's all I could think of. Came back around, Ange was fine, she's like, what the hell's going on? I grabbed the more powerful Olight torch, I put some sandals on, put a jumper on, and I took back off after him. Didn't go very far, and I sat in front of the building, just let my eyes adjust so that I could see for miles. He had definitely gone back to this auberge. So it was a very restless night. This morning, woke up, nothing happened last night. Woke up, went into that building, I'll put the footage on that I took. You can see his sandal marks, because they're different from my sandals and Ange's. What he had done is he had entered that building, thought he was going to be really quiet, and he'd opened a little window that looked right into the truck. And my vibe is, in my opinion, both of our opinion, as he was probably hoping to catch Ange getting undressed. That's my honest opinion. He had like looked through this window. I would say he's done it before. And yeah, bad vibes. So yeah, that was not a lot of fun. Really restless night. The wind absolutely picked up overnight at one point, much stronger than it had been in the day, and it was not a lot of fun. So we're happy to get out of there this morning, recommencing the filming of this Overland film. Yeah, looks like someone's gotten stuck over there.
So we are now passing just on the Lake Eriki zone that we can see on our GPS satellite view. There should be water here, so where we are, we seem to be fine. It looks dry on the track. As long as we don't go off the track, we should be absolutely fine. There must be a proper body of water a bit further, more towards the TMT.
And when it really rains, this must be treacherous.
Yeah. Wow, that is
this?
Pretty epic.
Now it's turned into the United States.
That's one amazing thing with this trail we found. It's like the diversity from where we started to here it's just changed so much across those 3 days, which is really cool. And now we're actually heading to an oasis. So like this trail has it all.
Maybe our last oasis for our Morocco trip, really.
Yeah.
I think we've just seen our last desert as well. So yeah, this trail has been epic.
There's a lot of running for this movie. I hope you appreciate it.